Hello, fellow Toolboxers. Welcome to episode 268 of the Immigration Lawyers Toolbox podcast. Thank you for joining us to be here to improve your law practice and education, all the stuff that goes along with being a great immigration lawyer. We're live on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. I'm also doing Instagram for my phone today, too. So some audience may see us there. The Instagram page is pretty good. So much content there and clips for, when we do clips, we do the headings of it that lists what the topic is. So it's good to scroll through that and you might catch something that can help your practice. So that's something to review. Today we're going to do a review of quarter three, some top 10, if you will. Let me see if it went to 10. So top 10 things that popped up in the third quarter. Now, as you know, it's already November, so limited delay in getting that out. It's been on my to-do list to talk about this, plus a ton of other stuff. But it kind of goes into something before we get into the top 10 that popped up. Right now, we're going through massive layoffs with the tech sector, and that means massive H-1B layoffs. And when I go to LinkedIn, for example, a lot of attorneys are jumping on the quote-unquote opportunity. Obviously, it's a difficult situation for a lot of people and their families, so I don't want to make it sound like bad. But these are opportunities to get your name out there on these particular topics, because all of a sudden there's probably thousands and thousands of people that need immigration lawyers because their H-1B or L-1 is having issues, and they need to know what to do next. And having resources, blogs, videos, clips, tips, everything is really important to do that. It's something I want to do in my firm, but we're kind of slammed with work. So the ability to be able to accommodate these kind of events when they happen is really important. For example, when the Ukraine situation happened, my firm, we have a Russian-speaking associate. We really jumped ahead of that and got so much resources out. We did get some business, it was really worth it. We did get some good business from it. That pays off because a lot of them are getting married now. We're doing marriage adjustment cases. Some of them got jobs, we're doing work visas and stuff too. But it also helped a ton of the population, probably 10x people helped them or with the information that was coming in. So it's like you got to take advantage of these things when they do happen. Although it's a bad situation for people, it opens it up. I remember I kind of built my firm a next level when the travel ban happened for Iran. And that's when I started doing videos, frankly. And I started going live and just recording, just talking about what the travel ban means and what it affects. And that really took my business, it doubled it up. And, one thing that happened is it got so busy, I stopped doing videos and marketing content because I was too busy with work. And then it slowed down and I have to do it again. So keeping consistent when it comes to the marketing level is so important on how you do this. And when these events happen, you may not have an employment-based practice, so it doesn't make sense for you to talk about H-1Bs and Ls, but you may have other kind of stuff. They change the VAWA rules, they change this or something like that. Something's happened to the border, something has with removal, immigration issues pop up. To really get out there, put content, because good educational content is so important because it helps everybody, and you get business from it. So that's something that was on my mind right now before starting, that somehow we need to get in on that and start talking about it. If you haven't already, write a review and rate us 5 stars on whatever platform you're watching. I just talked with a Toolbox listener recently, and she listens to us through Amazon. Amazon has an Audible. They own Audible. I'm like, oh, I didn't know even I was on Audible. So apparently I'm on Audible in addition to all the other platforms. But it helps us out a lot to get for more people to know in these searches that we're doing this, because like for iTunes, for example, usually my podcast comes to the top when you're doing searches for immigration. But on Spotify, it's all over the place. And for immigration lawyers, there's a lot of podcasts for immigation law that are for consumers and stuff that won't really help you. But this kind of stuff is not much out there, which was intended for immigration lawyers. So if you review and stuff, it'll help the algorithm so people can know more about it. So definitely check that out. We have the audio version, the video version. It's all over the internet. The conference is coming up. We're growing it. We're starting to publicize who the speakers are. If you go to the website, immigrationlawyerstoolbox.com, or I shortened it. I bought the URL. It's ILT.com, and check out the postgraduate page, because this is postgraduate studies, the way I look at it. You'll see that we listed the professors essentially that come on the course, really top-notch O1 practitioners. So if you really want to learn the O1, because right now recession is happening. And so what are you going to do? Add a practice area. How you can learn a practice area fast with good quality. You get the best teachers and best training in Los Angeles, February 24th. All day lunch, dinner, party too. It's going to be fun. Come join us. It's going to be a small group, so it's limited. It's going to hit a ceiling where you can't even come if you want to come. So come in. We want to keep it personal, so we don't want to make this big conference kind of thing. So I've been having troubles with the name of the conference that, but I think postgraduate workshop is the best way to do it, because it's like you graduate law school, you still don't know how to practice law, and if you're practicing law in another area, because you know how it is, law school doesn't teach you how to practice law. And so we do postgraduate studies, And then it's a workshop where it's in person. We're really help holding hands, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So check that out. Check out the magazine, immigrationlawyerstoolbox.com/magazine. That's gonna, a lot of information there, tons and tons. And the next issue is supposed to come out. We're still waiting on some last effort things, so things got delayed. Hitting these publishing deadlines are hard, but we'll get it out soon. I want to thank our sponsor, DocuWise.com, who's always been so supportive. They were ranked the #1 law firm, #1 software in the most recent AILA survey they did. They do the most amount of software. Very surprising. I'm like, they jumped last one they did. They were much lower. Now they're the most used. I see I probably had a hand in that. So hint, sponsors, look how great we can do for you. But they've been doing a lot of great work on marketing and stuff too. But I really appreciate the work they've been doing. We have the software at our firm. And, you get 10% off your annual plan by go to docuwise.com/immigration-lawyers-podcast. And you can check that out there. We do have a course for marriage, immigration, consular processing, adjustment status. Email me if you're interested in that. Side note, I'm thinking about adding internships. So if you're a law student as a 2L who could do internships for credits only, email me. We'll see what's going on in your resume, your background. We'll talk, because we do a lot of stuff. It's for my law firm, but maybe with Toolbox, who knows? That we have to, it's a lot of educational stuff we do. So I think it'd be great for you as an intern to get into it. If you are an intern at 2L law school or know somebody and they're interested in immigration law, hit me up, info@immigrationlawyerstoolbox.com, and take it from there. And, it's not legal advice I'm going to talk about. It's intended for general purposes only. Talk to the immigration lawyer. You know the rest. So let's jump into it. This is quarter 3. I take notes of what, like, everything that happens, and I put it on the Immigration Lawyers Toolbox LinkedIn page. And then every quarter I go through that, and then I see, like, okay, this is kind of important. This is interesting. I'll do that. And then I do this quarterly, and then at the end of the year, I try to aggregate these, see what the biggest ones of the year were. So we're near the end of the year, but let's go. So one is, we have a lot of major form updates that happen, which is kind of surprising. Like, they updated the I-485, the I-601, the I-765. They keep updating the I-765. It's really obnoxious. And it's just so important that you always check the edition date when you're filing. Like, even now, like, I was printing out a case, a marriage adjustment case. Then I just go and check at the G28, the I-130, I-130, I-485 to make sure we have the proper edition date. And sometimes our cases, people take like 7 months to finish it. Like, we had one case we finished in January, but the people didn't have the filing fees. And so it took until last month to get it. So we have to update a bunch of the forms because the I-485 changed. So be mindful of this stuff. A lot of major form changes happened last quarter, and even this quarter before this happened. We'll talk about that again next time. Number 2, the visa bulletin. So we went through the fiscal year change and the visa bulletin, updates are happening or not going to happen. We saw retrogression happen for India, which sucked, which is causing even more delays for that country. It hurts a lot of people who are doing follow to join and stuff like that, accompanying a follow to join. But also, I had to pay attention to this because I have a couple of F3, F4 cases, siblings and U.S. citizens and adult married children of U.S. citizens. And our clients are like, hey, is our attorney, I keep looking at the visa bulletin? No. And then when it brought to my attention, like, we're looking at the visa bulletin, it's not moving at all. I'm like, oh, snap. Like, it's been a year since the family-based preference categories moved. I haven't compared them. I just checked for the couple clients I'd have in those categories. So most of our cases are marriage or they're F2 or something like that, which F2A is the current. So that's what I usually deal with. But it was surprising to see it hasn't moved. It's pretty harsh that they have stuff like that just happened like that. In addition to retrogression for India, those people don't catch a break when it comes to visa processing. There was TPS and for Burma, that was put DED for Liberia, Syria, Venezuela got extensions, plus a special program Venezuela. Afghan has some special programs, Afghanistan. So there's a lot of humanitarian stuff that were added in Q3 for these countries. I barely handle any of these, so I don't know exactly what's going on, but I just want to reference, if you have clients from these countries, you got to keep an eye out. Every once in a while, you'll have a case that's like, could use it, so why not? Next is this is kind of an important thing. I don't do too many I-90 green card renewals, but they did what they did for the I-751. Knowing that the I-90s are taking so long, they pushed the validity of the automatic receipt extension to 2 years, which in one sense is good because it'll hold people over for travel and work authorization proof. But at the end of the day, it's an I-90. Why is it taking 2 years to get this done? I mean, come on. This is out of control. So when you see the I-751, I-90 is going 2 years and other stuff, we have a case right now, one emergency advance parole. They're supposed to contact us. Called USCIS for emergency advance parole, info pass appointment. They say 72 hours, business hours, we're going to contact you. a week and a half go by, they still haven't contacted us. We keep calling them, and they say, we're going to call you, we're going to call you. These people have life and death situations. So the delays with USCIS are so out of control. It's unbelievable. So that's that. Now, I mean, number 5, speaking of time. So there was this one thing USCIS said, we're going to get a bunch of cases done within 6 months. And I thought that was within, they said by September, we're going to have like I-130s, work permits, all this done within 6 months. That's our goal and stuff. And when they said September, I was thinking September 2022, which obviously with the delays that are happening, that didn't happen. But I looked at it again, it was September 2023. So hopefully that'll happen. I just don't believe it. How are they going to speed up when they're going so slow and they have such a backlog? Like one thing that's happening, and my associate made a good point. She's like, we have IA-24 cases pending for like 9 months a year. And then we have a couple that are getting approved within a month. And it's like, this doesn't make any sense. But they're just like, well, maybe like that's their way of manipulating the average times by doing some really fast, some longer, and like trying to balance it out. Maybe it's some sort of scheme, maybe not. But it's just so bad how long these things are taking. But they said they've implemented the next phase of premium processing for certain previously filed EB1 and EB2 Form I-140 petitions, which is kind of annoying. They haven't updated to like you could do it now. It's just if you had already filed one of these and you didn't file them, we could do it. And for EB1, it's multinational manager because EB1A already gets premium processing. And NIWs is good because NIWs usually take 6 to 9 months or something like that. So they're trying to speed those up. But their cases filed essentially on or before February 1st for NIWs or on or before January 1st for multinational managers, EB1C. But so it's tough because if you need it right now, you need it right now. Why can't they make it catch up higher or something like that? Next is not legal news, but it's worth mentioning because they're the big name in the game. Fragaman, the big law firm that has the most immigration lawyers, they announced a change in leadership. So the actual Mr. Fragaman is leaving, I guess shepherding the organization directly. And they say, let me go to their website. They say that today, Lance Kaplan and Enrique Gonzalez, I should probably have them on the show, both members of the firm's executive committee, will succeed the firm's chairman, Austin Fragaman, as worldwide co-chairs of the firm beginning January 1st, 2023. Austin Fragaman will assume the role of chairman emeritus following the transition. So that's interesting. It's a big deal. People are changing and the shifts are happening in the big legal game and all the stuff that are happening there. That'd be worth mentioning. Congratulations, Austin Fragaman, a long series of work he did in developing immigration law internationally. So that's a big deal. Number 7, USCIS extends COVID flexibility again, which is really good. I hope they make this just permanent. Why not? But that's something to be mindful of. If you got cases getting RFEs or NOIDs right now, you can get that extension. And they've finalized that the signature flexibility is here to stay. So the hallelujah, we use the scans of signatures, not digital signatures, but scans of them. So that's really important. It's in the policy manual now they can do that. Side note, on the I-751, they say if you're doing a declaration or affidavit, it has to have an original signature on there. And that's what we usually do when we use those. Like for an I-130, if you have a declaration from a family member or a friend or something like that, we use scans of it. It's been okay. But for the I-751s, we have them send original signatures because I'm not sure if that language is updated to or not. It's in the instructions for I-751 that they want original signatures. So we just don't want to mess around. We just do it like that. Number 8, USCIS guidance for O1 petitions with a focus on STEM release dates. So they have this thing where if you're doing a STEM OPT and you want to get O1, they take into consideration if you got being named in a competitive government grant, stuff like that. That's really important. It helps, the O1 application. Ideally, they do this for AB1A as well, but it's something you can argue there that these kind of things. I mean, we'd argue anyways in our cases, but it's just something to remember there, kind of broadening the ability to argue O1. I guess it's law for tech sector kind of stuff. Number 9, judge orders USCIS to begin accepting EB5 regional center investment applications. June 24th, the judge ruled in favor of a regional center challenging USCIS implementation of certain portions of the EB5 Reform Integrity Act 2022. In a nationwide preliminary injunction, the judge ordered that pre-existing regional centers retain their designation and may file for project pre-approval, and investors can file related I-526s. They're cutting off a lot of these regional centers. It's a crazy situation. They got that back. And number 10, track status of. So track is this organization, I think it's in like UPenn or Penn State or something like that. That does a lot of statistical analysis of immigration, particularly on the court side of what they're doing. And they say 1 out of every 6 new cases DHS initiates in immigration courts are now being dismissed because CBP officials are not filing the actual notice to appear NTA with the court. The federal government is facing a flurry of lawsuits for failing to take action on a variety of immigration-related applications. So this is another thing. So one is 1 out of 6 cases are being dismissed is crazy. But then in May 2022, the federal civil court recorded 647 immigration-related lawsuits for writs of mandamus, a type of lawsuit that seeks to compel the government to take a lawful action, and other immigration actions, the vast majority of which were linked to procedural delays or decisions by the Department of Homeland Security. This is the highest number of such cases in a single month since at least October 2007, the earliest date for which TRAC has data. At this rate, the courts will see 6,276 cases by the end of the fiscal year in September, up from 4,347 in 2021, which is so true. I've been putting out for 5-6 years on doing these writ of mandamus cases with my firm. Just because it was branching out of my sub focus was on, but we brought aboard an associate that's going to help with that, and we're going to be following these lawsuits because we have so many people come to us at this point. I'm like, might as well do it. So you could expect that number to be going up a lot, even more and more with the delays we're having. It's out of control. Like we have one case where they had admin processing for 9 months. They get the email that says, okay, administrative processing is over. Bring your passport, new medical. They submit it. And this is a case where a person has to leave their home country because there's no embassy in the home country. So they're essentially had to go pay for a hotel in life, expecting it back. It's 3.5 weeks now. They still haven't returned it. I emailed the embassy multiple times. After 2 weeks, they finally respond and say, sorry for the inconvenience. As they apologize for the inconvenience. Our consular officers are working on it. It's like 3.5 weeks to issue a visa stamp after you did the admin approval. Like what's going on here is people have to pay for a hotel and lunch in a foreign country and using foreign currency. They're losing money. This is out of control. It's really unfair. You can't just do it, So it's very frustrating, and you don't know what to tell people in the situation. It's like this is the welcome to the government. We're here to help you, if you will. So very frustrating stuff, the delays, but that's what these lawsuits are for. This couple didn't have the money. They should have followed the 9 months admin processing. I told them 6 month marks to file a lawsuit, but it costs a lot of money to file a lawsuit, and everyone could do that. It's essentially become an additional filing fee for wealthier people to get priority preference and visa processing by doing these kind of lawsuits. So it's a wild situation, but welcome to immigration law. I was supposed to name off a sponsor in the middle of the show, but I forgot. But they're a great sponsor too, so I'll give them a freebie on this one. I'll do more. But immigrationevaluationdirectory.com is a great resource if you're going to do waivers, if you're going to do hardship cases, cancellation, to have a review of the person to help show the person's mindset, which could help the case. So did you know research reports psychological evaluations can increase an asylum applicant's chance of approval by 78%? Psychological evaluations are hugely beneficial in hardship, cancellation, asylum, and other types of cases. Connecting with qualified clinicians has never been easier thanks to the immigrationevaluationdirectory.com. Free to use, you can filter the directory by location, language, case type, and more, then review profiles and reach out. The Immigration Evaluation Directory is your one-stop resource to find the best therapist to help. Explore more today at immigrationevaluationdirectory.com. The CEO of it is a great person. She's in the business. I've been doing this stuff, and her family is involved in immigration law as well. And so it's just a great resource. At least go check out the website. Have it bookmarked, Immigration Evaluation Directory, when you need it. Now I'm extending my firm. I'm doing waiver cases and stuff as well. This is like when people contact me and the case in a different state, I'm like, okay, good. I could go here and find a doctor that knows what this whole 6-1 situation is, because a lot of times, like, they're not going to understand why this person all of a sudden coming to a therapist. But these people are trained, and that the CEO had a own course, so these people know what they're doing as trained therapists. So check it out, immigrationevaluationdirectory.com, and come to the conference. I'd love to see you in person. Have a good time. At the end of the day, it's spending a winter time in Cali, Southern California. It's going to be a lot better than most of the places where you're at. A lot of the people signed up are like, dude, come into from East Coast, Northeast to LA for a weekend. Why not? And that's it's gonna be fun. A lot of education. You're gonna get better at what you do, and we have a good one-on-one kind of time together, which is what I like the most. Talk to immigration lawyers about immigration law and more. So we'll see you then. If you want to email me, you can contact me. It's info@immigrationlawyerstoolbox.com. I'm immigration lawyer John Kasravi. Thanks so much for joining. If you haven't already, like and subscribe, but more importantly, leave a 5-star review wherever you're watching this. I'm seeing these other immigration people have all these 5 stars, and I don't have enough. And I realized from studying YouTube and stuff. You have to ask people, and they'll do it. So you ask and you shall receive. Look forward to getting 100 5 stars immediately. All right, buddy. Talk to us soon. Bye-bye.